Imagine being told that taking a life somehow teaches others not to take lives. It's a contradiction just of injustice. Throughout this presentation, I want you to truly ask yourself this question. If the death penalty truly stopped crimes, why do states that use it the most have the most crimes? In this presentation, I'm going to argue about the death penalty and specifically why the death penalty is not an effective deterrent of crimes and how it costs more than it saves, and how there are better ways to achieve true justice. In this presentation, I'll be discussing about the lack of evidence of effectiveness the death penalty provides and why it does not deter crimes from people committing crimes, the moral contradictions of using the death penalty, the practical concerns of the death penalty, and the lack of evidence and the solutions and better alternatives to the death penalty. The lack of evidence of effectiveness the death penalty shows and why it doesn't deter crimes from people committing crimes. There is little to no evidence providing that the death penalty effectively deters people from crimes. Numerous studies, including those from the National Research Council and the Death Penalty Information Center, have found no credible link between capital punishment and lower crime rates. In fact, states that continue to use this death penalty have less than lower murder rates than those who use it. One key reason is that most violent crimes are committed impulsively, in moments of anger, fear, or depression. Situations where offenders aren't thinking about long-term consequences or legal punishments. Criminals rarely stop to calculate whether they might be facing execution. Instead, their actions are driven by emotion or circumstances. This reality shows that the death penalty fails as a deterrent, serving more as an act of revenge than a tool for prevention. Next, I'll be discussing the moral contradictions of the death penalty. The death penalty presents a moral contradiction at the heart of the justice system. It attempts to teach society that killing is wrong by committing the act of killing itself. This contradiction undermines the very value of justice, compassion, and human dignity that the legal system is supposed to uphold. When the government takes a life to show that taking a life is unacceptable, it sends a confusing message. The violence can somehow bring peace or revenge can equal justice. Many people argue that executing someone for a crime only mirrors the very act we are committing, turning the state into a participant in the cycle of violence rather than a breaker of it. Also, the death penalty denies the possibility of redemption or rehabilitation, suggesting that some lives are better saving, which contradicts the moral principle that every person has the capacity to change. In many cases, innocent people have been wrongfully executed, revealing that this irreversible punishment not only violates moral consistency, but also risks committing injustice in the name of justice. True morality should seek restoration, fairness, and the prevention of further harm, not the deliberate taking of another life under the guise of order and law. Now I'll be discussing the practical concerns of the death penalty. The death penalty raises practical concerns that makes it an inefficient and problematic form of punishment. One major issue is that the costs associated with capital cases, trials, appeals on death row, often cost far more than sentencing someone to life imprisonment without parole. Those financial burdens strain state resources without providing clear benefits in terms of crime reduction. Additionally, the legal system is riddled with errors and biases that can lead to wrongful convictions, affecting marginalized communities, including people of color and those with limited financial means. The lengthy appeal process tends to prevent mistakes, often drags on for decades, causing emotional distress for the victim's family and taxpayers alike. Beyond cost and fairness, the death penalty also fails to address the root cause of crime, such as poverty, lack of education, and social inequality, meaning it treats only the symptoms rather than the underlying problems. Lastly, I'll be discussing the better alternatives to using the death penalty. Life imprisonment without the possibility of parole ensures that dangerous criminals are removed from society while also avoiding the moral and practical pitfalls of execution. This allows the legal system to correct wrongful convictions and reduces the risk of executing innocent people. Beyond incarnation, investing in crime prevention programs such as education, mental health services, and community and supportive initiatives addresses the root cause of criminal behavior, lowering crime rates in the long-term run. Rehabilitation programs as well within prisons can also help offenders reintegrate into society safely, when appropriate, turning punishment into an opportunity for change rather than just simply revenge. By replacing the death penalty with these better alternatives, society can uphold justice and human dignity while protecting the communities more effectively, proving that safety and morality do not require another life. If we truly want to stop crime, we should focus on prevention, not persecution. Ending the death penalty is a step towards a justice system that values real change in justice, fairness, and the value of life.